Chalo. Now, let us come to the next chapter, financial statement of companies. Okay. Now, this chapter is easy because only you know the format and understand the information given the question. Not much concept in this particular chapter. Now, of course, can I say when I am saying financial statement company, the financial statement format is given where? In Companies Act, Schedule 3, correct? Division 1. So it is as per Division 1 of Division 1 of Schedule 3 of Companies Act. Division 1 of Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. Now, in that division, there are two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is for balance sheet and part 2 is for statement of profit and loss. Okay. Now, format, I hope you know, nothing to discuss much. If I will say the main heading, first we write down shareholders fund, then we write down share application, money pending allotment, then we write down non-current liability, then we write down current liability. Under shareholders fund, first we write down share capital, then we write down reserve and surplus, then we write down any money received against share warrant. However, normally in exam they will not give share warrant, correct? In non-current liability, first we write down long-term borrowing, then we write down deferred tax liability. Now you know what is deferred tax liability as per AS 22. Then any other long-term liability, and then long-term provision. Long-term provision, correct? So first long-term borrowing, then deferred tax liability, then other long-term liability, then long-term provision. In current liability, first we write down short-term borrowing, then we write down trade payable, then other current liability, and then short-term provision. So it is what we write down: short-term borrowing, trade payable, other current liability, and short-term provision. However, trade payable as per MSME Act, we need to show on the face of balance sheet how much is due to MSME, how much is due to other party. So normally till now they have not asked this type of question at CA inter level, but on the face of balance sheet we should disclose that. Okay. Then asset is divided two part, non-current asset and current asset. Under non-current asset, first we write under point number A, PP, then intangible asset, then capital WIP, then intangible asset under development. Intangible asset under development. Intangible asset under development means what? Any intangible asset which is under development phase and meet the recognition criteria, but till now not available for use. Correct? So if they have given, you should mention here. So PP intangible asset, you understood. Then we write on non-current investment, any non-current investment. Then we write on deferred tax asset, and then long-term loans and advance, and then other non-current assets. So first we write down point number A, PP, then intangible asset, then capital WIP, then intangible asset under development. Then point number B, non-current investment. Point number C, deferred tax asset, then other long-term loans and advance, and the last may it will be other non-current liability. Current asset we start with current investment, then inventory, then trade receivable, then cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent. Then any short-term loans advance, then other current asset. The format you know. I'm not giving much stress on this. Now SOPL, once again it is part 2 of division 1 of schedule 3. So SOPL format is also very simple. First we write on revenue from operation. Then we write on other income. This become total. This become total income. This is total income. Understood? Correct? Then under expense, first we write on cost of material consumed. When I say cost of material consumed, it means what? It is opening stock of raw material plus purchase of raw material minus closing stock of raw material. Then we write on purchase of stock in trade. Means this is for manufacturing, this is for trading. If suppose any entity is doing both, so for manufacturing business this, for trading business this, correct? Purchase of stock in trade. Then any changes in inventory. Changes in inventory means any changes in inventory of finished goods and WIP. Correct? We'll compare opening stock with closing stock. Any changes in inventory will be shown here. Then employee benefit expense. You all know employee benefit expense. then financial cost, interest cost, then depreciation and amortization, then other expense. Means whatever is not coming above, all will come here under other expense. This will become total expense, total expense. Then we write down profit before exceptional and extraordinary item. Abhi we have not done AS5. So in AS5 we'll discuss what is exceptional and extraordinary item. However, in this chapter they don't ask much question about exceptional and extraordinary item. But we'll do this, what is exceptional, what is extraordinary in AS5. Then we'll do plus minus exceptional item. So this will become profit or loss before extraordinary item. Then we'll do plus minus extraordinary item. This will become profit before tax. Then minus tax expense, current tax and deferred tax. Now you know what is current tax, what is deferred tax. And this will become profit for the year. And then we should disclose earning per share as per the requirement of AS20. AS20 also will do basic earning per share, diluted earning per share. Of course, you know. Okay, this become the format of SOPL. Now there are some points which we need to understand. First, the meaning of current asset, current liability means which liability will become current, which asset will become current. So they have given four conditions for current asset and current liability. If any one condition satisfied, it will become current asset. If any one condition satisfied, yahan par it will become current liability. Understood? Till now, no question of this nature have been asked, but with MCQ question, they can ask this type of questions. You need to say whether it is current or non-current. Are you able to understand? So there are four conditions. How many conditions? Four conditions. First condition is what? It is for current asset. It is expected to be realized or consumed. It is expected to realize in the company's normal operating cycle. In the company's normal operating cycle. Now, if you know FM, if you have done FM, you know about operating cycle. If you have done FM, correct? However, what is the meaning of operating cycle? Operating cycle is the time taken for the acquisition of asset, for the processing and their conversion into cash and cash equivalent. Means simple word, whenever you are doing any manufacturing business, so you will first purchase raw material, then you convert that into WIP, then that will become stock, then you sell it, it will become debtor, and debtor will realize and will become once again cash. So this time period is known as operating cycle, correct? So how to calculate operating cycle? It is the average holding period of raw material, average holding period of WIP, average holding period of finished goods, average realization period of debtor. This become operating cycle. However, in FM, so you have done in detail. FM you have done in working capital management. You have in syllabus now, correct? So in FM, the detailed discussion required because we have one chapter for this. But in this accounts exam, they will give you the month. Means we are not supposed to calculate it. Suppose this is 2 months, this is 3 months, this is 6 months, this is 7 months. Total become what? It become what? 18 months. It means can I say this 18 months become the operating cycle. Means operating cycle can be equal to, it can be less than, it can be more than 12 months. It can be equal to, it can be less than, it can be more than 12 months. So this operating cycle will be given the question, nothing to worry about that. Nothing to worry about it. So suppose it is 18 months. The first condition is what? It is expected to realize in the company's normal operating cycle, means in 18 months. In 18 months, if 18 months is what? Operating cycle. The first condition is based on operating cycle. It is expected to be realized in 18 months. Understood? Correct? It can be 24 months also. It can be 2 months also. So whatever operating cycle that you will take. Second condition is what? Is expected to realize within 12 months from the end of reporting period. It is expected to realize within 12 months from the date of reporting period. From the end of reporting period. Understood? This is the condition everyone know. Okay. So point number 1 and 2 you understood. Point number 3 is what? It is held for the purpose of trading. It is held for the purpose of trading. Correct? Understood. So normally inventories are held for the purpose of trading. The inventory will be always current. Inventory will be always current. Last is what? It is cash and cash equivalent. So cash and cash equivalent will be always current. Now what is cash? What is cash equivalent? Meaning I will give you in AS3. You have done cash flow statement. You know cash equivalent. But what is the meaning of this? We'll discuss where in AS3. Chalega. So this become the 4 condition. If any one condition satisfied, become current asset. Chalega. Then current liability is just, if you have understood this, you will understand this. So current liability is what? It is expected to settle in the company's normal operating cycle. It is expected to settle in company's normal operating cycle. Second, it is due to be settled within 12 months from the end of reporting period. Within 12 months from the end of reporting period. Then it is held for the purpose of trading. So any liability which is held for the purpose of trading will be also current. Last point is what? Company does not have any unconditional right to defer settlement of liability for at least 12 months after the reporting date. Means in simple word, one example I will say for this, कि suppose any loan which is payable on demand, so suppose I have given a loan to you, so for you it is the liability. I have given a loan to you, for you it is a liability, and it is payable on demand. Means when I demand, you need to pay it. So I can demand at any point of time. So once demanded, can you defer it for at least 12 months after the end of reporting period? No. So it become what? Current liability. So even though right now the payment date is not known, because it is loan payable on demand, it will be always considered as current liability. It will be always considered as current liability. Understood? However, but you need to understand this meaning. If 2 marks questions come, because till now they have not asked much question on this, but if they ask, you should know the meaning of this current asset and current liability. Done? Chalega. Then this point I will do at the end. Come to treatment of dividend. Treatment of dividend in the financial statement. Means what will be the accounting treatment of dividend? So we all know that dividend are of two types: preference dividend and equity dividend. Preference dividend and equity dividend. And equity dividend can be interim or final. It can be interim dividend, it can be final dividend. You know about interim dividend? You know about final dividend? So can you see interim dividend of current year is paid in current year, but final dividend of current year will be paid in next year. Means if you are paying final dividend in current year, it is for which year? Previous year. It is for previous year. Understood? So any interim dividend paid, suppose interim dividend already paid, because now in this chapter they will give you trial balance, and from trial balance you need to prepare a financial statement. So it means if the interim dividend is already paid, the journal entry has been done, and interim dividend will appear in what? Debit side of trial balance. Interim dividend will appear in the debit side of trial balance. So if interim dividend of current year is paid and given what? In trial balance, so what will be journal entry? So journal entry what? PL appropriation account debit to interim dividend. Means it will be reduced from PL appropriation account. It will reduce from PL appropriation account, and it will not come in the balance sheet. It will not come in the balance sheet. Understood? So PL appropriation account debit to interim dividend. Interim dividend will not appear in the balance sheet. Understood? This point have you understood? This point you have understood? Bolo. Have you understood this point? Chalega. Similarly, final dividend of previous year paid given in trial balance. Final dividend of previous year paid given in trial balance. So final dividend is also paid. So what journal entry we have done? Final dividend account debit to bank. Correct. So it is also appearing in what? Trial balance, in the debit side of trial balance. So for that also same journal entry, PL appropriation account debit to final dividend. And can you see it will not come in the balance sheet? It will not come in the balance. It will reduce from PL appropriation account. Reduce from PL appropriation account. Understood this point of similar treatment? So interim dividend paid, final dividend paid in current year, the same treatment. PL appropriation account debit to dividend, and it will not appear in the balance sheet. It will not appear in the balance sheet. Chalega. Similarly, preference dividend paid, the preference dividend paid, that will also appear in the trial balance. That will also appear in trial balance. So same journal entry, PL appropriation account debit to preference dividend, and it will also not appear in the what? Balance sheet. So preference dividend will also not appear in the balance sheet. So all are same, similar treatment. So whether interim dividend paid, final dividend paid, preference dividend paid, treatment remains same, and it will not appear in the balance sheet. Okay. But there are some proposed dividend. You know proposed dividend? For current year dividend has been proposed. For current year dividend has been proposed. So what journal entry will do? No journal entry. As per AS4, any dividend declared after balance sheet date will not be recognized as a liability. Will not be recognized as a liability. So suppose they have given proposed dividend of current year as an adjustment, means in additional information. In additional information. Adjustment means what? In additional information, no treatment. No treatment. No treatment means no journal entry. No journal entry. As per the requirement of Schedule 3, it should be disclosed in our notes to account that this is the amount of proposed dividend. So only a disclosure is required, but treatment is not required. So such dividend are not recognized as liability at balance sheet date because no obligation exists. Such dividend are disclosed in the notes to account. Okay, sir? Correct. Now, preference dividend not declared during the year. Suppose there is preference share capital, but till now preference dividend not declared. Till now preference dividend not declared. So once again, no journal entry. Any preference dividend not declared, no journal entry. But in this case, there can be two situations. It is related to cumulative preference share. It is related to non-cumulative preference shares. Can you say any non-cumulative preference shares, if preference dividend not declared, that will be withdrawn forever? Means it will not be paid in the future, and therefore it will not be your contingent liability. Correct? So not recognized, and it will not be disclosed as a contingent liability. But any cumulative preference shares, if the preference dividend is not declared, so no journal entry, but it will be disclosed as contingent liability. If you remember internal reconstruction, we have done arrear of preference dividend shown as a contingent liability. So that become what? Arrear of preference dividend will be shown as a contingent liability, but only for which shares? Cumulative preferences. Only for which shares? Cumulative preferences. Understood? Have you understood? Correct. Any doubt? No doubt? Chalo. Not twist. Okay. Can I take? So 2 minutes you enjoy. Chalo. Now, so dividend you understood, dividend treatment. Dividend treatment you understood. Now come to depreciation. Now for depreciation, normally sometimes doubt come. Now depreciation, just try to depreciation given in trial balance. Depreciation given in trial balance. It means what? If depreciation journal entry has been done. Understood? So what is journal entry for depreciation? Depreciation account debit to. Depreciation account debit to. Now just try to. Thoda sa I will give some clarification. From exam point of view, there are two journal entry for depreciation. One is depreciation account debit to asset. This is bakwas journal entry. So depreciation account debit to accumulated depreciation. This is the correct journal entry as per AS. But we need to understand what is the requirement of question. However, in this, normally in this chapter, they will always give you accumulated depreciation. But suppose accumulated depreciation is not given in trial balance, it means this is the journal entry. So whenever in trial balance we do not have accumulated depreciation, it means they have recorded this journal entry. But whenever you will find trial balance में accumulated depreciation, it means they have done this journal entry. They have done this journal entry. Are you getting what I am saying? Are you able to understand? So if the depreciation is already appearing in trial balance, means this journal entry has been done or this journal entry has been done. Correct now? Are you able to understand that depreciation will come in the expense side of SOPL? Expense side of SOPL. No other treatment. The depreciation will come in the expense side of SOPL. Whether you deduct from asset, because it is already deducted from asset or already adjusted with accumulated depreciation. Correct? So one simple rule is what? Whenever any item is appearing in trial balance, then only one effect. Whenever any item is given as an additional information, then two effect. Because additional information journal entry recorded. So journal entry recorded means debit and credit. So that will have two effect. which is already recorded now, that need to be given only one effect. Understood? So if depreciation is given in trial balance, then record as an expense. In balance sheet, no treatment. In balance sheet, no treatment. Understood? But if the depreciation is given as an adjustment to trial balance, it means depreciation journal entry has not been recorded. It means we need to pass journal entry. We need to pass journal entry. So if accumulated depreciation maintained, then can I say it will be an expense? Means you'll pass depreciation to accumulated depreciation and add such depreciation amount to accumulated depreciation, and then the total amount of accumulated depreciation will be deducted from asset in the balance sheet. In the balance sheet. Understood this point? Whatever I have said? Not able to understand. Understood? Whenever you are passing this journal entry, so suppose 100 rupees, 100 rupees. So this will go to the expense side of SOPL, and this will be added to the total accumulated depreciation, and the total amount of accumulated depreciation will be shown by way of deduction from respective asset. By way of deduction from respective asset. If suppose accumulated depreciation not maintained in trial balance, then you will use which journal entry? Depreciation to asset. Then your journal entry will be depreciation to asset. So in that case, depreciation will go to what? Expense, and reduce the asset with the amount of depreciation. Reduce the asset with the amount of depreciation. Got this point? Understood? If suppose somebody is asking you journal entry of depreciation, then what journal entry will say? Depreciation to accumulated depreciation. Now onward you give this journal entry. Correct? चलो इंटर तो चलता है. In CA final once you come, so we'll say you are doing PAP. If you are saying depreciation to asset. CA inter tak okay if you are saying depreciation to asset. But in CA final, if you are saying depreciation to asset, we'll say go. Means come after 6 months. Understood? Chalo. Have you understood this point? Have you understood this point? Chalo. Done. Then some special point. Can you see whenever they have asked you to prepare balance sheet and also we need to also disclose some information in our notes to account. In our notes to account. For this chapter, notes to account is mandatory. For amalgamation chapter, what I have said, if you don't have time, don't do. But here, always do. Because this is chapter for this only. And if you are not doing that, then they will give undana. Correct? The notes to account is mandatory for this particular chapter. The first share capital, how to disclose? So first we write on authorized capital as per the information given in the question. So we write on number of shares and the face value, and then add on total, but this will not be added in the total. This is only for disclosure purpose. Then we write on issued, subscribe and called up capital. Issued, subscribe and called up capital. So we write on number of shares of rupees itna and how much called up. How much called up. So this amount you can calculate. From this you will add, from this you will deduct what? Calls in arrear. Any calls in arrear will be deducted. And in this also you will add any share forfeiture account. You remember share forfeiture account? Share forfeiture account. Whenever any means any capital, any shares are forfeited, so share forfeiture account will come. Correct? Understood. So any forfeited shares account will be added in share capital only. So any share forfeiture account will be added to share capital, and this will become total share capital. Understood the presentation? Presentation understood? Yes, sir. And this will go to the balance sheet share capital. Okay. Yes, sir. So when I am saying shares, it is both equity shares and preference shares. It is both equity shares and preference shares. Now, three information required to be disclosed. Ki any shares which are issued as bonus shares, that requires separate disclosure. Any shares which are issued for consideration other than cash, that also requires separate disclosure. And any share which has been bought back during the year, that requires separate disclosure. So suppose any shares are issued a bonus share, so you should write down ki out of the above number of shares, this much shares are issued for bonus shares. This much shares are issued for consideration other than cash. This much shares have been bought back during the year. These disclosures are required. If suppose such information is given, this need to be mentioned as a separate point in the notes to account. Okay, sir. आगे चलें? Yes, sir. Reserve and surplus. Can you say all the reserve and surplus as per their nature will come? Capital reserve, capital redemption reserve, falana, as per the information given in the question. Correct. But for surplus means what? Surplus means profit and loss appropriation account. So for surplus, you should add on first opening balance. Opening balance will be given in the question. Then you should add net profit for the year. That will come from SOPL. Net profit for the year, correct? And after that, you should do all appropriation. All appropriation means final dividend paid, interim dividend paid, any bonus shares issued, any transfer to any other reserve, as per the information given in the question. So all appropriation you should disclose in the notes to account only. You can't directly write down the closing balance. You should write down how opening balance become closing balance. That disclosure need to be given only for surplus, only for PL account, not for capital reserve, not for CRR. Got this point? So this become the closing balance, and the total will become the total of reserve and surplus. You can see there is one special account, share option outstanding account. Do you know this account? Stock option outstanding account. Do you know? Do you know this account? Outstanding account? I'm asking yes or no. Bolo no. Bolo you don't know. You know? How you know? ESOP. You have done ESOP chapter in your old syllabus. अच्छा law में. But law will not teach you accounts na. Chalo. Whenever there is a ESOP, actually ESOP was in our old scheme of syllabus, CA Inter. It has been deleted in new scheme of syllabus. Now it is in CA Final. So we'll teach you in CA Final. But there is one popular question in CA Inter ki stock option outstanding account will be shown under which head? Reserve and surplus. This will come in MCQs. This is a very popular question, already asked 2-3 times in new, already asked in old scheme of syllabus and have been asked in new scheme of syllabus one time. In MCQ, this question can be asked, stock option outstanding account will be shown under which head? Reserve and surplus. Abhi outstanding na, so most of the students will write on liability. But this will be shown where? Reserve and surplus. 2 marks, huh? 2 marks. MCQ is 2 marks question. Understood? So stock option, abhi don't try to understand what is this, because this is not in our syllabus, but you should know where it will come. It will come under which head? Reserve and surplus. So stock option outstanding account will be shown under reserve and surplus. Chalega? Yes, sir. Then long-term borrowing. So as per the requirement of Schedule 3, all the long-term borrowing should be divided in 2 categories, secured and unsecured. So you should find out how much secured, how much unsecured. If question is silent, all are secured. The question is silent, don't fight, you will assume all are secured, because normally borrowing are secured only. Who will give unsecured loan? Any bank will give unsecured loan? No. So if the question is silent, you assume all are secured, correct? So you just divide in secured and unsecured. Now, after that classification, you decide on how much are debentures, how much are loan, term loan, how much are deferred payment liability. Deferred payment liability, you know what is deferred payment liability? We have done PP. In AS10, PP is purchased for a period which is beyond normal credit period. You remember? So we said the cost price will be equal to present value of all future payment. That is deferred payment liability. That is deferred payment liability. So any deferred payment liability will be also shown where? Long-term borrowing. Understood? Okay. But till now this has not been asked in this chapter. Till now this point has not been asked in this chapter. Correct? So whatever they have not asked, I will just cut it. Okay na? Means only from exam point of view. You don't cut. Means you just give one star mark, don't delete it. Means what I am saying, till now this has not been asked in exam. Okay? Yes, sir. Then any loan from related party, any long-term maturities from finance lease obligation. Lease, you know, lease liability we have done. Now lease liability are of 2 types. Any long-term maturities, any current maturities. Any long-term maturities, any current maturity. For example, just try to understand. Just try to understand. Ki suppose this is Y0 and this is Y1. Correct? And you have, I mean, right now you are preparing balance sheet at this point of time, at year end 1, and your lease liability is 10 lakh. Your lease liability is 10 lakh. Correct? And Y2, the lease liability become 9 lakh. Understood? Are you able to understand? So here it is how much? Here it become how much? Means 1 lakh is paid within 12 months and 9 lakh is payable after 12 months. So out of 10 lakh, 1 lakh become current maturities and 9 lakh become long term maturities. Are you getting what I am saying? So current maturities will go to current liability. Long term maturities will go to non current liability. Understood? Have you understood this point? Understood? So don't worry, in this they will give you long term maturities, current maturities. So don't be confused what is current maturities of lease liability. That will be shown in current liability. That will be shown in current liability. So any long term maturities of finance lease liability will be shown under long term borrowing only. Understood? Then iske baad any other loans advance, whatever loan I given is will come. I hope you have understood. Correct. Then there is one condition, there is one more disclosure requirement that you should also disclose the nature of security. So suppose they have given the nature of security, means that what security have given, so that also you should disclose. Suppose the debenture is secured by hypothecation of plant and machinery. So right now it is secured by hypothecation of plant and machinery. That will be as per the information given in the question. So the nature of security should be also separately disclosed in each case. Can we move? Can we move? Yes, sir. Then short-term borrowing, long-term borrowing you understood. Now let us come to short-term borrowing. So short-term borrowing also secured, unsecured. Secured, unsecured. Already, right now I said loan repayable on demand will be always current. So any loan repayable on demand will be always current. It cannot be non-current. So they will say loan repayable on demand. It will be always current. Loan repayable on demand will be always current. Understood? Yes, sir. Then any loans advanced from related party, any current maturities of long-term borrowing. Understood? Any current maturities of long-term borrowing. Same. So any current maturities will be shown under short-term borrowing. Long-term maturities will be shown where? In long-term borrowing. Understood? Have you understood this point? Yes, sir. Then any other loans is given. This is what as per short-term borrowing. Here also nature of securities will be specified. Then coming to trade payable. Now this point till now not asked in exam. Till now not asked, and from my point of view they will never ask. Correct? But now as per schedule 3 requirement, they require aging schedule. Ki trade payable is due for how many months, या how many year. So we need to give some aging schedule. Ki out of the total trade payable, how much is outstanding for less than 1 year, for 1 year to 2 year, for 2 to 3 year, for more than 3 year, and then total. Understood? So this will be given in the question. Only you need to prepare this table. Are you able to understand? Suppose they ask, you should know. Are you able to understand? So what is the total trade payable? Out of total trade payable, how much is outstanding for less than 1 year? From 1 year to 2 year? From 2 year to 3 year? For more than 3 years? And this will be disclosed in this 4 category. Already we have understood in the balance we write on due to MSME and due to other party. Out of that we write on how much is disputed, how much is undisputed. So we write on undisputed dues, MSME, undisputed dues, other, disputed dues, MSME, disputed dues, other. But from my point of view, they will never ask this. Chalega? Ignore. Understood? Yes, sir. Then coming to other current liability, what will come in other current liabilities? Understood? This is related. Correct. Now, other current liability. So can you say other current liability, what will come? Interest accrued but not due, and interest accrued and due on borrowing. Achha, what do you mean by interest accrued but not due and interest accrued and due? Both are same or different? Of course different. Let me take one example. Suppose you have a debenture of 10 lakh and 10% is the rate of interest. 10% is the rate of interest. And due date of interest is at year end 1, year end 2, year end 3, means you need to pay interest on each due date. Correct? Are you able to understand? Okay. Now this 1 lakh here is due, interest is due. This interest is due. So it should be paid. So if it is not paid, it become liability or not? It become liability. So this is interest accrued and due but not paid, and therefore will be shown under current liability. Understood what I am saying? This is interest accrued and due but not paid. If paid, then it is not a liability. So this is interest accrued and due but not paid. It is a current liability. Second example. Suppose this is what? This is 31st March. And interest is due on 38th September. And the next 38th September as per agreement. Means as per agreement, interest is due every time on 30th September. And suppose debenture is issued at the beginning of the year 1/4, 10 lakh. It means, can I say, for the 9 months it was due, but for 3 months it is not due. Correct now? But we do accounting on due basis or accrual basis? Accrual basis means for this current year we recognize interest for how many months? 9 months or 12 months? We recognize interest expense for 9 months or 12 months? 12 months. Out of that 12 months, 9 month interest is interest accrued and due. Paid or not paid, you will find out. But this 3 months become interest accrued but not due. So but not due, the question of payment will not arise, because it will be paid only when due. So this become interest accrued but not due. So interest accrued but not due will never be paid. So that is the current liability. Interest accrued and due, and if not paid, that is also what? Current liability. Understood? But both need to be shown separately. Ki how much interest accrued but not due, how much interest accrued and due but not paid, need to be disclosed separately. Good question. Till now not asked, but can be asked. My type of teacher will give this type of questions. Understood? So good question, can be asked at any point of time. Chalega? Have you understood this too? Then any income received in advance is current liability. Any unclaimed dividend, you know about unclaimed dividend? So any dividend paid but not yet claimed by shareholders, that will be always current liability. So it will be shown under current liability. Any application money received for allotment but due for refund, means there are two type of application money. Application money received and pending for allotment, that will be shown on the face of balance sheet as second item. You remember that will be shown yahan par na. Application money received pending for allotment. So any application money received and pending for allotment will come yahan par. But any application money received and due for refund, it is refundable, it is a liability, it will be shown under what? Current liability. It will be shown under current liability. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? Then any calls in advance will be current liability, any outstanding expense will be current liability, and then others we can write down. Chalega? In this is very important. Application money, unclaimed dividend is very important. Then outstanding expense is important. Interest accrued and due are important. Normally they ask this type of questions. Then coming to property, plant and equipment and intangible asset. The disclosure are more or less same, but we'll disclose separately. So for any property, plant and equipment, first we write down class of item: land, building, plant, furniture, etc. So first we write down gross book value. What we write down? Gross book value. In gross book value, we write down opening balance, then addition, then minus sale. This become closing balance of gross book value. Closing balance of gross book value. From this we deduct accumulated depreciation. So we write down accumulated depreciation. So opening balance plus depreciation expense of current year. This will become closing balance. This will become closing balance of accumulated depreciation. Now this minus this will be the will be the closing balance which will be shown in the balance sheet. Understood? Same thing will do for intangible asset. So suppose they have given patent, they have given trademark, they have given falana, whatever. So same format, but instead of depreciation, now we write on amortization. Understood? This is important from exam point of view. This format in this chapter. Okay. Then any non-current or current investment. Non-current, current disclosure requirement is same. Any non-current investment or current investment disclosure requirement is same. So what they say, कि out of that you need to identify how much trade investment, how much non-trade investment. So first you need to identify out of total investment how much is trade, how much is non-trade. If question is silent, always assume trade investment. Always assume trade investment. If question is silent, correct. Now you should also classify as per their nature कि how much investment in equity shares, how much investment in preference shares, how much investment in government securities, how much investment in debentures, how much investment in mutual fund, how much investment in partnership firm, etc., 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 as per the information given in the question. Out of that, how much trade, how much non-trade. This become total. From that, if there is some provision for decline in the value of investment, so as per AS 13, if there is some non-current investment, we create a provision for decline in the value of investment, permanent decline in the value of investment. If that is given, deduct from this will become the amount. This amount will be shown in the balance sheet. Okay, sir. Have you understood? Yes, sir. Are you getting? But there is one special disclosure requirement कि out of total investment you should also separate total investment in quoted investment and unquoted investment. Quoted means which are listed, unquoted means which are not listed. Means out of these you need to identify how much quoted, how much unquoted. And for quoted investment you should also disclose aggregate market price. What is their market price you should disclose. So that will be given in the question. As per the information given in the question, you should only give a disclosure. These are the total quoted investment and the market price of total quoted investment in this much. Understood? आगे चले. Then long-term loans advance. Long-term loans advance. In this, there is one special point: capital advance. Do you know what is capital advance? Capital advance. Capital advance means suppose you have given advance for purchase of PP, property, plant and equipment. So that is known as capital advance. Let me give you an example. Suppose you have given advance for purchase of PP and that PP will be purchased within 3 months from reporting date. Understood? So you have given advance for purchase of PP and that PP will be purchased within 3 months. So that capital advance will be current or non-current? Understood what I am saying? Once again, you have given advance for purchase of PP and that PP is expected to be purchased within 3 months from the end of reporting period. So it will be current, non-current. It will be current, non-current. Everyone will say current, but it will be non-current. Capital advance will be always non-current because it is given for PP and PP is also what? Non-current. Understood? The capital advance cannot be shown under current. It will be always what? Non-current. So this capital advance will be always shown under long-term loans and advance. It cannot be shown under short-term loans and advance. Special point, important from exam point of view. So if they are given capital advance, it will be always be non-current. It cannot be current. Then any other advance given as per the information given the question that you write down. Inventory, we write down as per their classification. How much raw material, how much WIP, how much finished goods, how much stock in trade, how much stores and spares, how much loose tools. Correct? Understood? So as per the information given in the question, write down. This will become the total of inventory. Can you move? Then coming to trade receivable, this is important. Trade payable I said not important, but trade receivable aging schedule is important. Are you getting what I am saying? Correct? But don't worry, normally they will give these two in exam. Less than 6 months and more than 6 months. They will not give this much. If given, so you should do entire aging schedule. So here trade receivable also we'll write down outstanding for less than 6 months, then 1 to 6 months, 6 months to 1 year, then 1 to 2 year, then 2 to 3 year, and more than 3 year. And here also you should write down how much undisputed, how much disputed. How much undisputed, how much disputed. Undisputed consider good and consider doubtful. Disputed consider good and consider doubtful. This all information will be given in the question only how much is good debtor and how much is doubtful debtor. If the question is silent, always will assume the debtor are undisputed. We'll assume it is undisputed only and question will be silent. Okay? So undisputed, disputed, how much good, how much doubtful. For how many of this one, just write down as per the information given the question. From the total, we'll also deduct allowance for bad and doubtful debt. As per the information given the question, we'll deduct allowance for bad and doubtful debt. The net amount will come. The net amount will be shown in the balance sheet. Net amount will be shown in the balance sheet. This is important. Okay, sir. Then cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent will be balance with bank. The balance with bank, you should also disclose how much scheduled bank, how much other bank. This is very important. Has been asked a lot of time. So balance with bank, how much scheduled bank, how much other bank, as per the information given the question. Then any cash in hand. If suppose there are some checks in hand or draft on hand, that will be also cash and cash equivalent. Got this point? Yes, sir. Then contingent liability and commitment. This is also important. Now contingent liability, now already we have understood it is AS29 contingent liability. And commitment means what? There are some commitment given which is not yet recognized. For example, executive contract. You have given commitment to purchase plant and machinery after 3 years. So that becomes commitment. So commitment is not contingent liability. Commitment is not contingent liability, but your schedule 3 says that you should disclose contingent liability and commitment also. AS29 only discuss about contingent liability. AS29 is not for commitment. AS29 is not for commitment. Understood? So examples of contingent liability, any claim against the company which is not acknowledged as that, means which is not yet recognized. Means there is some liability which is not yet recognized, that become contingent liability. Any guarantee given will be contingent liability. Any money for which the company is contingently liable, means any information given the question as contingent will be what? Contingent liability. One popular example is what? Any bill discounted which is not yet matured. Any bill discounted which is not yet matured will be always contingent liability. Bill discounted but not yet matured will be a contingent liability. Because bill discounted, so can I say drawer will pay to the bank? But if drawer will not pay to the bank, we need to pay to the bank now. So that become our contingent liability. Understood? Chalega. Commitment mein, there is one very important example. Uncalled liability on shares and other investment partly paid up. For example, you purchase some equity shares of any company and that is partly paid up equity shares, partly called up. Now company can call anytime uncalled amount. Whenever they will call, we are committed to pay or not. So that become our commitment. So any uncalled amount of partly paid up shares purchase, that is our commitment to pay. So that will disclose yahan par. Understood? Have you understood? Chalo. But not so much important. This is up to this we have done balance sheet disclosure. Up to this we have done balance sheet disclosure. Now let us come to SOPL. Now revenue from operation. Can I say we write down sale of goods? Any sale of services? Sale of services means revenue from services. Correct? Any grant or donation received. Now grant or donation received is normally other income. But if suppose we are non-profit organization, means we are section 8 companies, section 8 companies, so we are non-profit organization. In that case, can I say it become our revenue? So grant and donation received by section 8 company is the revenue. But by other company it is what? Other income. Are you able to understand what I am saying? So grant or donation for section 8 companies it will be revenue. But for other company it will be other income. Understood this point? Correct. Apart from this, there can be any other operating revenue as per the information given the question. Okay. Other income, can you say other income? There are list of items. It can be interest income, it can be dividend income, it can be gain or loss on sale of investment, it can be any other non-operating income, gain or loss on sale of PP, etc. Chalega? Any exchange gain or loss on foreign currency transaction, exchange gain or loss. So we write down net amount, exchange gain minus exchange loss, net amount in other income. Net amount in other income. Then cost of material consumed already I have explained. Opening stock of raw material plus purchase minus closing stock of raw material. For changes in inventory also I have explained. It will be shown for WIP and finished goods. Opening stock, closing stock and opening stock. Correct? Understood? Now if the closing stock is more than opening stock, then it will be shown as a negative item in the SOPL. Correct? Because closing stock is more than opening stock, it will be increase in asset means gain. So gain will be written in the expense side as a negative item, means it will be reduction of expense, reduction of expense. So whenever closing stock is more than opening stock, then negative item. When closing stock is less than opening stock, then as a positive item. Here be careful, be careful. Understood? Then in finance cost, can I say interest expense will come and any other borrowing cost will come? Any other borrowing cost. For example, we have done that, if you remember AS 16, we have done that any amortization of discount on issue of debenture is also borrowing cost. So that will also come here only. So any other borrowing cost as per AS 16 will also come here, which is charged to PL, which is not capitalized, Other expense, just read the example, whatever will not come here, all will come in this. All will come in this. Done. Discussion to done. Correct? Now there are some questions. I will say one favorite type of question. Let us do that. Normally they ask this type of question. This is one of the favorite question. Let us see. On 31st March 2001, SR Limited provide the following ledger balance after preparing PL account for the year ended 31st March 2001. Equity share capital fully paid of rupees 50 each. Fully paid 80 lakh. So what is the number of shares? 80 lakh divided by 50, you can calculate. Then they have given calls in arrears. So calls in arrears will be deducted from share capital only. Then they have land, building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture. These all are property, plant and equipment. Then they give securities premium, reserve and surplus, general reserve and surplus, PL account. Of course, this will be opening balance. So this will be also in general reserve. Then loan from public finance corporation secured by hypothecation of land. This is long-term borrowing. How is cash and cash equivalent? Loan from public financial corporation. Then other long-term loan, if nothing is given, term loan will be always long-term borrowing. Long-term borrowing. Then they are given short-term borrowing. Then inventory, finished goods and raw material. So inventory is given, finished goods and raw material. Of course, this is the closing stock. Trade receivable, advance short term. So they have given advance short term. So this is short term loans advance. They have given short term loans advance. Trade payable, provision for tax. Provision for tax, if nothing is given, that will be always short term. It cannot be long term. So provision for tax will be always short term. It cannot be long term. Then unpaid dividend, can you say it will be shown under other current liability? Other current liability. Then cash in hand, balance with bank, total. Now following additional information is given. 50,000 fully paid equity shares were allotted as consideration for land. Means this is issued for consideration other than cash. So required separate disclosure. The cost of the building, means just try to understand, there is no accumulated depreciation account given. They have not given accumulated depreciation account. Means can you say this is net book value? This is the net book value, na? Are bolna rahe? And they have given cost price of these. So can you say cost price minus net book value? The difference will be accumulated depreciation. So we can find out accumulated depreciation from this information. For example, they have given building 32 lakh. So building 32 lakh. And if you minus 30 lakh, so what is the accumulated depreciation? 2 lakh is the accumulated depreciation. And for balance, you can do accordingly. Chalega. Trade receivable for 4,86,000 is due for more than 6 months. So they have given more than 6 months. How much? 4,86,000. Let us find out what is the total. Total is given how much? Trade receivable this month. So 17,50,000. How much more than 6 months? 4,80,000. So how much less than 6 months? 17,50,000 minus 4,86,000. How much? Bolo? 12 lakh. So can you say this disclosure required aging schedule ki how much less than, how much more than 6 months, how much more than 6 months. Okay, correct. Normally they ask less than 6 months and more than 6 months. They will not demand so much, but if demanded, that table is required. That table is required. Then balance with the bank 56,000. The Naya bank, which is not a scheduled bank. So you can see balance bank is 4,14,000. How much not a scheduled bank? So how much scheduled bank? Batao. 4,14,000 minus 56. How much? 3,58,000. 58,000. So this will be shown in the scheduled bank, and other bank will be how much? 56,000. Separate disclosure required. Separate disclosure required. Loan from public financial corporation repayable after 3 years. So it means this is long term. So it is understood now, it become long term. It was not given yahan par, but from this we can understand it is long term borrowing. The balance of 26,30,000 in the loan account with public financial corporation is inclusive of interest accrued but not due. Interest accrued but not due, whether it will be shown in long term borrowing or other current liability. Other current liability. So can you say out of this total, how much total? The 26,30,000, how much will deduct? 1,34,000 will deduct. That will be long term borrowing, and 1,34,000 will be shown under other current liability. Other current liability. Got this point? Then other long term loans, unsecured loan, means they have given other long term loan 22,50,000. They have given the bifurcation of this. They have given the bifurcation of this. So this is secured, and they are saying this is unsecured. This become unsecured. So unsecured loan from this bank, amount payable within 1 year. Means what they are saying? Loan from Nexus Bank. What is the total? 22,50,000. What is the total of these three? Check karna. 13,80,000 plus 4,80,000. No. So it is minus. From this they are deducting this. Actually this is thoda sa printing typo mistake. It should come yahan par 4,80,000. Means this 13,80,000 consists of this, which is amount payable within 1 year. Means out of 13,80,000, we'll do minus what? 4,80,000. This will become current. This will become current liability, and the balance is how much? Balance is how much? 9 lakh. 9 lakh will become non-current liability. Means it will be long-term borrowing. Long-term borrowing. And this loan taken from director, this will be also long-term borrowing. Understood? Means high level of concentration required. First, so reading the question carefully. Reading the question carefully. Only presentation. Once you have understood only the format and presentation. Means it is just like data entry. No concept, but only presentation. And fast. Okay. Then BR for rupees 1 lakh maturing on 15 June has been discounted. But what is this? BR, which is discounted but not yet mature. I have given a special note. This will be shown as a contingent liability for disclosure purpose. So this will become contingent liability. Means if you understood all my point, all questions can be done. It become contingent liability. Then again, short-term borrowing include loan from Naya Bank. Secured. This is secured. A loan from director. If nothing is given, this become unsecured. So this becomes secured, and this become unsecured. So we should disclose how much secured, how much unsecured. Got this point? Then transfer of 35,000 to general reserve has been proposed by board of director out of the profit for the year. So out of the current year profit, so you can see what is the profit of the year? They have not given. So this much will be transferred to general reserve. So from PL account, this much will be transferred from PL account to general reserve. So we reduce PL account and transfer it to what? General reserve. Inventory of finished goods include loose tools costing rupees 5 lakh, which do not meet the definition of PP as per A estate. As per A estate. So any PP which do not meet the definition of PP, means any loose tools, means any, we call it what? We call it actually standby equipment or spare part like this, which do not meet the definition of PP, will be shown as inventory. Will be shown as inventory. Got this point? Correct? So they have given, so out of this 5 lakh will be shown as loose tools. So what is the inventory total given? Finished goods. Out of this 45 lakh, we'll deduct what? We'll deduct how much? 5 lakh. And this 5 lakh will be shown under inventory, but as loose tools. As loose tools. This is finished goods, then whatever given raw material, and then loose tools. Understood? Yes, sir. You are required to prepare the balance sheet as per the requirement of Part 1 of Schedule 3 of Companies Act. You are not required to give previous year figure because they have not given previous year figure. This is the question. You want me to do one question? You have understood? Correct? In this, only understanding and practice required. Means you need to practice a lot. If you are not practicing in exam, this question you will take 1 hour. Are you getting? So practice required. And this is one of the favorite questions. With this type of question they have asked many times in exam. And I also like this question personally because most of the points are given. Most of the points are given. Okay, sir. So you can do it. Now you say, state under which head these accounts should be classified. Share application money received in excess of issued share capital. Bata. It will shown where? Bata. Share application money received in excess of issued share capital. Means this amount is refundable. So this will be shown under other current liability. Share option outstanding account, reserve and surplus. Unpaid mature debenture and interest accrued thereon. No. Unpaid mature debentures means what? I need to explain. Unpaid means debenture matured and it is not paid. So it is current liability only now. So this will be also shown under other current liability. Uncalled liability on shares and other partly paid up investment. Bata. Abhi we said na. It is commitment, not contingent liability. This will be shown under contingent liability and commitment. You can add on or only commitment. This will disclose under commitment. Under commitment. Calls unpaid under share capital. Money received against share warrant under shareholders fund. Shareholders fund. Check kalo. So this type of question they can ask. In MCQs, this type of question can be asked. Multiple choice question. Correct? Now there are some more questions. If you want, then we'll practice. Otherwise, so I think my job is done as per explanation is required. एक question और पढ़ते हैं. This question is also good question. Can we read? Good question. Let us read and understand. Okay. Om Limited had an authorized capital of 15 lakh consisting of 6,006% redeemable preference shares of rupees 100 each and 90,000 equity shares or rupees 10 each. So this will be disclosed under share capital. Correct? The following was the trial balance. Investment in shares at cost, non-current investment. So investment in shares at cost. So this will be shown under non-current investment, given only non-current investment. Correct? Purchase will go to SOPL. Selling expense will go to other expense. Inventory asset at beginning. This is opening stock. Salaries and wages including 30,000 as director remuneration. So director remuneration need to be disclosed separately. So under employee benefit expense, you should write down how much salary to other and how much to directors. Okay. Cash on hand, BR, BR will be shown under trade receivable. Under trade receivable. Interest on bank overdraft. This is expense. This is finance expense. Finance expense. Interest on debenture up to 38 September. Interest on debenture up to 38 September. So it means 6 month interest is not yet charged. So we should add 6 month interest also. That will also come 11,250 only. Means debenture is given how much? Dekho, debenture. 4,50,000. 4,50,000 ka 5% how much? Into 6 by 12 how much? 11,250. So this is accrued but not due. We can say in this way. So this will be also added now. So this will become your total expense and 11,250 will be shown under other current liability. Then sundry debtor and sundry debtor. This is simple. Then freehold property at cost. Okay. Furniture at cost less depreciation of 45,000. So this is accumulated depreciation. So we can find out what is the cost price and what is the accumulated depreciation. Then 6% redeemable preference share capital, okay. Equity share capital, okay. Mortgage debenture, okay, but secured on your property, this is secured. Dividend received will become other income. Profit and loss account, this is opening balance. Sales will come into SOPL, means revenue. Bank overdraft secured by hypothecation store. This is the short-term borrowing but secured. Technical know-how, this become intangible asset. Cost paid during the year. Audit fee will be shown under other expense. Now closing stock is given. So you can find out changes in inventory. And this closing stock will be shown under balance sheet, under inventory also. Purchase include 15,000 worth of goods and article distributed among valued customer. Means from purchase we reduce how much? 15,000, and this will become your selling expense. Because this has been used as a distribution. So selling and distribution expense. Okay. So reduce from purchase and add to selling expense. Add to selling and distribution expense, or you can add on as a separate item. Okay. Got this point? Salaries and wages include 6,000 being wages incurred for installation of electrical fitting, which were recorded under furniture. It means as a salaries wages, how much you reduce? 6,000 reduce, and that will be added to what? Furniture and fitting. So this will be capitalized. So reduce from what? Salaries and wages, and capitalize where? Add to what? Furniture. Understood? Okay. BR include 4,500 being discounted bill, 50% of which has been considered irrecoverable. Very good. Just try to understand what they are saying. BR include 4,000 being dishonor bill. So what is journal entry for dishonor? Now, journal entry for dishonor is what? Ki debtor account debit to BR. Means your debtor will increase by how much? 4,500, and your BR will decrease by how much? 4,500. But out of which 50% is irrecoverable, means bad debt. So 1 second will pass. Bad debt to debtor. Bad to debtor. How much? 4,500 ka 50% how much? 2,250. 2,250. Means what is the net impact? Net impact is debtor will increase by 2,250. Bad debt will be 2,250 and BR will be reduced by 4,500. The net impact will be this. Understood? Have you understood this point? Pakka? Correct. Then BR of 6,000 maturing after 31st May discounted. This will be shown as contingent liability. Depreciation of furniture to be charged 10%. You will pass generated depreciation to accumulated depreciation. You can do it by your own. Interest on debenture for the half year. This already we have done. Technical know-how is to be written in 10 years. So what is the amortization of technical know-how? Divide by 10. So 45,000 will be the amortization of technical know-how. So we will do amortization account debit to accumulated amortization. Chalega. Trade receivable include 18,000 due for more than 6 months. So 18,000 is more than 6 months. So balance will be less than 6 months. Separate disclosure required. This is the entire question. But practice once this question. These are good question. Good quality of questions. Understood? Now last point of this chapter, which is thoda sa different, is this. The last point. Declaration of dividend out of reserve. Now, normally ICAR don't used to ask question from this topic, but one of the recent attempt they have asked question from this topic also. Means any topic is important. In some attempt they will pakka ask. Are you getting? So declaration of dividend out of reserve. Normally we declare dividend out of profit. The question is, can we declare dividend out of reserve? Well, yes. If there is some insufficient profit, but then 3 conditions need to be satisfied. You can declare dividend out of reserve, but when 3 conditions are satisfied. What are the 3 conditions? A company may declare dividend out of accumulated profit subject to the fulfillment of following conditions. First condition, the rate of dividend declared. Should be less than or equal to average rate of dividend on last 3 years. So whatever rate of dividend you have declared should be either less than or equal to average rate of dividend of last 3 years. First condition. Second, amount withdrawn from reserve means whatever amount you are withdrawing from reserve for declaration of dividend, that must be less than or equal to 1/10 of paid up capital plus free reserve. 1/10 of means 10, you can say 10% of paid up capital and reserve, free reserve. Free reserve, you know what is free reserve, correct? The last condition, the balance of reserve after withdrawal means the closing balance reserve after withdrawal should not miss, it should be more than what, 15% of paid up share capital. Paid up share capital only, not free reserve. 15% of paid up share capital. If you want, I can take one question of this, but we don't have any question in expected now, because I was not expecting this question this time. Can I take one question of this nature? कर लो भाई. Chalo, this is the question, question 9. What is given? Due to inadequacy of profit during the year ended 31st March 2002, XYZ Limited proposed to declare 10% dividend out of general reserve. I mean, this is that same question, out of general reserve. From the following particular ascertain the amount that can be utilized from general reserve, means what is the amount which we can utilize from general reserve. That is depending upon the three conditions. According to Companies Act, declaration of dividend out of reserve rule 2014. They have given, they have 17,509% preference share capital fully paid up 17,50,000. 8 lakh equity share capital 80 lakh, general reserve opening balance 25 lakh, capital reserve opening balance 3 lakh, revaluation reserve opening balance 3 lakh 50,000 and net profit of current year is 3 lakh. Average rate of dividend of last 3 years is what, 12%. So average rate of dividend is also given. Okay. So first we'll find out how much dividend need to be declared out of reserve. So what is the profit given? 8 lakh. What is the profit given? Sorry, 3 lakh. 3 lakh is the profit given na? Bolo. 1 minute. So what is the profit given? 3 lakh. Correct. Now first we'll pay preference dividend. So preference dividend is what? 17,50,000 ka 9% how much? 1,57,500. Correct. So what is the profit available? Means what is the profit available? 1,42,500. This is the profit available for distribution of dividend. Profit available for distribution dividend. But what is the rate proposed for dividend? 10%. So 10% of 80 lakh how much? 8 lakh. So out of 8 lakh how much profit is available from PL account? 1,42,000. Means how much insufficient profit? 6,57,500. Means this is the amount to be utilized from general reserve. Now can we use this amount? For that three condition is there. So what is the amount to be utilized from general reserve for dividend? 6,57,500. This working, have you understood? Now condition number 1 is what? The rate of dividend should be less than or equal to, so that condition is already satisfied, 10%. And what is the average? So condition number 1 is satisfied. Since 10% is lower than average rate of dividend of 12%, 10% dividend can be declared. The condition number 1 is satisfied. What is second condition? What is second condition? Bolo. The amount withdrawn from reserve. Amount withdrawn from reserve should be less than or equal to 10% of paid up share capital and free reserve. So amount withdrawn is what? As per our question is 6,57,500. Now let us find out first paid up share capital plus reserve and surplus. So what is the paid up share capital? Batao. 80 lakh. 80 lakh. We'll also add preference share capital 17 lakh 50,000. And we have free reserve what? General reserve 25 lakh. 25 lakh is free reserve. What is the total of these three? What is the total of these three? How much? Whatever. 10% of that amount is what? 12,25,000. Correct. And what is the amount required for from general reserve? 6,57,500, which is less than what? 12,25,000. Second condition is also satisfied. Second condition is also satisfied. Understood? Okay. What is the third condition? Ki after withdrawal, the balance of general reserve. Correct? After withdrawal, the balance of closing your balance of general reserve after withdrawal. Correct? Should be more than 15% of paid up share capital. So first let us find out closing balance. So closing balance will be 25 lakh minus 6,57,500. What is the closing balance? Batao. What is 25 lakh minus 6,57,500? How much? 18,42,500. 18,42,500. Okay, sir. And what is the paid up share capital? It is 80 lakh plus 17,50,000. How much? 97,50,000. What is the 15% of that? 14,62,500. So this condition also satisfied. Why? Because this is more than 50% of paid up share capital. All the three conditions satisfied. Therefore, the conclusion is that dividend can be paid out of general reserve. Understood? Have you understood? Means, this type of question is what very rare. Means we as a teacher say will not be asked. Means when you say rare, so you will never do na. You will never do. But ICR knows we are saying rare and they will ask in one exam. So if you have not done, can you see you will not be able to attempt because you will forget this point how to attempt. And because of that reason, we always say do entire studies. I'll say my story what happened. In my entire CA curriculum, I have left only one concept of audit in my CA final. But I have never left any concept. But that concept, because audit I was doing self-study, so that I have not understood only because I was not having any practical knowledge of that particular concept. So I was reading, I was not able to understand. And I have seen past year question that concept was never asked. So I said, Chhodna. Understood. Correct? In my exam, that question came for 12 marks. Bata. Means whatever you leave in your exam, that only will come. Don't leave. Correct? And this happens. Whatever you will think it is unexpected, that question will come. Sometime will happen that this question is difficult, chhodna, and that question same to same will come in exam. Correct? So the rule is what? If you are capable of understanding, do it. Don't leave. Means revision should be planned in such a way that you are able to complete all the points. Achha, what is our education system? If you see our primary education up to class 12, means how we have studied. Our primary education, we used to revise and go in exam hall. And always we have done 100% revision. Because every exam, there is a lot of holidays. In here also na, one exam, I think 4-5 days will be holiday after second exam, then third exam. Correct now. So we have a lot of time. and we revise, go. We revise, go. We revise 100%, go, and we are full confident. So when we are revising 100%, we are going to exam hall, we are confident, and due to that confidence, we are writing good only. That happens up to class 12. Suddenly we came to CA Foundation, CA Inter. Correct now, only 1 day gap. And so much syllabus, and we are not able to revise it. We are not able to revise it. Now what is our habit? Revise, 100% go, but we are 70% revision done, and that fear came. That fear will automatically come now, because due to our primary education system, we are not habituated of that. So our mind says that we are not revised, we have not completed revision, and that fear will do blunder mistake in exam. Will sometimes we surrender also. Sometimes we will become totally blank in exam. It means always I say that this situation will come in CA examination. CA examination is different from other examination. Syllabus might be say easy, but due to that extra pressure, due to that extra expectation from everyone, there are a lot of pressure, and that you need to understand how to control that. If you are able to control that, if you are able to control that emotions in exam hall, first question came, that is out of your zone, then also balanced question, do it. That much fighting spirit should be there, because that one day will decide whether you will pass or you will not pass. That one day. I always say 80% prepared, you will pass. 100% prepared, you might not pass, because that one day you are not able to perform. So that one day, exam day is very important. Exam day is super duper important. Correct? Got this point? What happened with me in my CA Inter? I just say one story. In CA Inter, what happened? Because we have also gone to your phase. Means I was also like you. But I pass, you need to pass. The difference is this. Difference is na. Ki I have passed, you need to pass the examination. But same emotions are same. Means in CA Inter, I am a good student, I was a good student. So in CA Inter, I was expecting in costing, that time costing FM was to one paper. Costing 50 marks, FM 50 marks in our time. Out of costing FM, I used to like FM, costing I don't used to like. Means एक favoritism होता है ना, this subject I don't like, this subject I like. तो बताओ, you will study much what? FM, and I will not study costing much. Yes or no? Means interest area is what? FM. Less interest area is costing. In costing, there is one chapter, labor. Labor to mahabakwas chapter. I have never understood why we are studying that chapter. You like that chapter, labor? Bakwas chapter, na? You are also doing that chapter, na? Means super bakwas chapter. Means never understood what is this. That plan, this phalana plan. That only, na? Are Hana, bonus plan. But the bakwas, what is this? Give us, but what is this? Bakwas chapter. Am I right or not? So first the costing and then labor chapter. So I used to hate labor chapter. Correct? This was my perception. But then also I was preparing for 90 marks. King costing FM, what is the target? Means I was a good student, I will study now. Are bola re? Now what happened? Dekho mind game. What happened? What happened in exam hall? Costing means I am just showing my situation in exam hall. I went with first paper went well, accounting. Second paper I think was costing FM. I forgot second or third paper. So I was in costing FM. I started costing will be given first, and then FM. So bata I will start with costing or FM. FM. I started with FM. I will not start with costing now. Now FM first question out of book. I was also like you. 90 marks. Expectation gone. Second question not understood. Correct now. Pressure increased from top to bottom. Two question 90 marks expectation. What will happen? Tears will come in my eyes or not? Is fully blank. After that, to whatever I was reading, I was not able to understand. FM gone case. Khatam kahani. I'll move to what? Costing. First question on labor. Means believe me, I have not read the question only. I have not read the question. Means I surrendered. Totally surrendered. Means 1 hour तो I have not written. मतलब I don't know what I have written. Then I said, भाई जितना मतलब I don't know what I have done. 2 hours what I have done. I was totally blank. Means I don't know what happened to me. Then whatever I understood, I have written, but I came back. Means after exam, I came back to my house. I cried for 2 hours. How many hours? Just like you also cry, na? You cry. Someday cry, मजा आता है. So I cried for 2 hours. I decided quit. Next attempt. I decided to quit. My friend said, अरे छोड़ना भाड़ में जा. I quit to quit. Emotionally, na, surrendered. Body means I can't open my next exam. That is out of mind. That only happened. But what happened? That time I was not in my native place. I was in Delhi. I was studying in Delhi. So one of my friend called my father. He is crying. Correct now. My father called me immediately. And my father does not speak to me. My father don't know what I am doing. But that day he called me. He said only one word. You pass, you fail, we are not concerned. But you have studied now, you write. You fail, you come back to family. Nothing, family business is there. You come and join family business. Okay, now I am with you. I should have. Means just try to, when you are surrender, when you are thinking about failures, your in mind parents will come. What my parents will think, what my brother will think, what my sister will think. First family. And your family supported you, you regain the energy. Family business there. Correct na? Dekho, I was also like you. Believe me, that time, theek hai na, family business there, nothing will happen. And pata nahi what happened. That word said, chalo, write exam. Then next paper was tax. I don't know how I have written, but group 2 went well. Group 1 to bakwas ho gaya. So I was thinking I will pass in group 2. And immediately after exam, I started studying costing FM. Because I know I will not pass. And believe me, when I was preparing costing FM, then when I started reading the question, whatever came in exam, all questions I was knowing. That question number 1, which was out of book, in that only one information was out of book. Balance I was knowing. Labor question, I was knowing the answer, means that was the labor question I left na. The dot to dot answer was in my mind. Means after exam I solved, and that question was memorized. Means was in my mind. This is the solution. The same question came from the book. Means what happened? I surrendered in mind. If I would have not surrendered, believe me, in that question paper I would have scored 70 plus. Understood? But now nothing can happen. Once again I started preparing. Immediately after exam, not after result. Result came. Costing FM 40. Passed both group. What is the moral of the story? Write exam. Write exam. What is the moral of the story? One more moral of the story. Write exam. First, don't quit. You will pass. Means I pass only because of my father. That word, one single word. So you also require that mentor. That in your exam, someone should be there to push you. One mentor should be there. You decide who is the mentor. You just talk to that person, not to your friend. Friend will say, "Chhona. Give second attempt." Because I am also not writing. So you decide who is your mentor. He can be your friend. He can be your close friend also. And he can be your parents, or he can be your parents, or he can be your teacher. Decide who is that mentor and talk to only that person, because he will only motivate you. I will say in the world, only one person will motivate you, 99% will demotivate you. You need to decide who is that one person. So my case, my father was there. Second story, second moral story. What is the moral of the story? that whenever question paper is hard, it is hard for everyone. Suppose I was preparing for 90%. If for me that question paper is hard, what will happen to others? They will to suicide. Yes or no? Just try to understand what I am saying. If I am preparing for 90% and for me question paper is hard, so what will happen to others? They will die. They will die now. Same thing happened that I realized after result. Ki after costing every paper, 50% student didn't come in exam hall. Means I came only because of my father. Understood? So it means question paper is hard, and believe me, I don't know how 40 marks came. It means grace mark was given. Whenever question paper is hard, grace mark will be given. So whenever question paper is hard, one rule, attempt all question even though you don't know. Write something and come. If question number 1 is complicated, write whatever you know, but don't leave it because it is complicated for everyone. In CA, everyone is same. Everyone is same. Only I said not 2-3% are exceptional. We are not competing with them, but balance all are same. So in that balance, if you just survive in exam hall, you will pass. So only you need to understand how to survive in exam hall. You will pass. This is the moral of the story. Correct? Preparation is something else, but exam day is most important. Believe me, your pass and fail is decided on exam day. How you control your emotions. That only you need to understand. It happens. It might happen in the last attempt. You have given any attempt? So in last attempt, you have understood that question paper was easy, but due to some fear, yeah, due to some higher expectation, you have not understood only. And after exam, you came back, "Arey, this question to I was knowing. Aisa hua. Arey, this solution, this question I was knowing, this point to I was knowing. I have not understood exam hall." Due to that extra fear, it will happen because this is CA exam. That only you need to understand. Okay. So this chapter is completed. Time is 1.